I'm going to be honest with all of you. I have no idea who I am. To all of you, I'm this year's arts prefect. That girl you see in the halls who always wears neon pink Crocs, or maybe even just someone you've heard sing a little too loud in the art room. But when I think about myself, I don't exactly know where to start. For many of the grade 12s in this room, the daunting university essays about who you are may still be left blank. I can assure you that is the case for me. I tore myself up during the 11 speeches before me, each one of them walking up to this exact podium, saying their name, and sharing their story. What even is my story? I joked for weeks, asking my arts council to write my speech for me, counting down the days until I was out of time and I had to come stand right here in front of all of you and make my speech up on the spot, though that definitely wouldn't have gotten past Rev. As many of you know, I'm one of the most indecisive and emotional people ever. What to talk about during these 10 minutes is probably in my top 3 most procrastinated projects of all time. What valuable insight or story do I have to magically bestow upon the Appleby community? How can I do this when I don't even know who I am? But most importantly, how can I stand up here and be vulnerable without absolutely bursting into tears? That's when it hit me. My arts theme this year is all about identity through art, finding courage through vulnerability, as Miss Hagee would say. And funny enough, the voices of Miranda and Katrina are currently ringing through my head with the words, "Normalize crying during your chapel speech." But what is identity? To me, it's the core of a person. It's solely the fact of being. Last month, I talked with my parents about this exact concept. My mom, dad, and me all huddled in the corner of my room, watching my intro video for the arts this year. In the original cut of the video, I introduced myself as queer. Just recently, I'd come out to my mom in a spur-of-the-moment decision. We were in the car, and I didn't really ever plan on having an official coming out. To me, coming out was something I never found necessary. It wasn't something I felt the need to announce. The appearance of rainbow flags and subtle jokes about my sexuality were eventually normal for me. I just assumed everyone knew. So, during that car ride, it was easy. Almost as casual as telling someone your coffee order or your favorite movie. Being gay is a part of my identity. It's something I can't change, and it's a core part of my being. And until the moment where those words came out of my mouth, I don't think I fully realized how much I was holding back. It almost felt like I'd shared a secret I'd been keeping for 17 years. And I acknowledge how extremely lucky I am to be in a household where I'm supported unconditionally, no matter my identity or who I love. But, in a way, saying it out loud was a way of finally accepting myself. And I won't lie, the road to self-acceptance is not a short one for me. It's a journey I still take on the daily, but I can confidently say that though there are good and bad aspects of being out, I wouldn't have it any other way. I feel more like myself than I have in a long time. Embracing this part of my identity has allowed me to further look ahead at who I want to be. My mental health journey has also been a huge aspect of my battle with identity. In my day-to-day, it can take more energy than I would have ever imagined to not only do the things that I want to do, but the things that I need to do. Schoolwork seems like running a marathon, and even getting up to brush my teeth at night can be too much sometimes. That's the thing about mental health. We talk about tearing down the stigma until it gets too ugly to talk about, until someone hasn't showered for weeks, until people see what they don't want to see. And watching myself struggle like this has led to a lot of finger pointing and blame. It's a part of my identity that I didn't understand and I actively tried to ignore. Something I pushed away for a long time. And I'm going to be brutally honest. I'm probably in one of the worst spirals of my life. Some days it's extremely hard for me to see the good things, the things that make everything worthwhile. And sometimes these thoughts take over and I can't find the real me under it all. My identity gets lost. I feel lost. I don't think I can accurately explain the feeling unless you've been through it yourself, but it's one of the most terrifying experiences I've ever had. Losing sight of who you are, especially when you have no control, is something I wouldn't wish upon anyone. But for all the times I lose myself, I get to find meaning all over again. And it does get tiring, I'll admit it, but it's helped me understand who I am, but more importantly, who I want to be. Mental illness does influence me on a daily basis, no doubt about it. And I'm still growing and trying to understand myself more and more. But I don't let it define me. I actively work to let it not get in the way of who I want to be. Some days it gets the best of me, but it's what I've learned is how I choose to respond to it that's the most important part of it all. Choosing to be kind to myself and keep going is what I want people to know me for. So yes, internally we all grapple with who we are, but externally we get put in boxes too. Growing up, I was shy, and when I say shy, it's probably an understatement. I was the type of kid who didn't know how to speak for herself, who hid behind her mom's legs in public all the way through childhood. I was put in a box, quiet, and it still follows me around today. I slip back into the comfort of familiarity when things seem a little too much to handle. In prefect meeting, it's so easy for me to slip by unnoticed. Quiet. And for some of the people who know me, I am very much the opposite. I can tell you for sure, Walker Deck 2 knows that my volume control is a definite issue. Yet, it's so easy for me to slip into these labels when we hear them all the time. We let others tell us who we are, and sometimes it's easier just to let it happen. I know for myself, I rode the wave of labels forever. Let them lead me instead of finding the way myself. And that still may be the case for some of you watching, but I promise you, at some point you will eventually realize you are not confined to the opinions of others. It's through my family I was able to realize this. And yes, that means my mom, my dad, and my brother, with all of their unwavering support, but it also means my chosen family, the amazing people in this room with me today. And it's at this moment I'm most scared of crying, looking around at each and every one of you, because identity is about who you are, but who I am involves all of you. I wouldn't be me without every single person I've met, every single experience I've had. It's only through my experiences this year that I realized identity doesn't have to go against who I want to be. Who I choose to be doesn't have to undermine the core of who I am. The way you treat others, the impact you have on people, the way you make people feel. That's up to you, and that's what really counts. Because yes, identity is about the core of who you are, but it's even more about the choices you make. So, to the grade 12 class, wherever you may be watching from, as you move forward into university and beyond your time at Appleby, pave the way for yourself. Have the confidence to not only follow your heart and find who you are, but also continue to find your courage through vulnerability. Share your story, even when it seems hard, because you don't know who may be listening, who might need to hear the exact words you're saying. Go forward with kindness and be the person you always needed. So, as I stand in front of you for the last 30 seconds of my chapel speech, let me introduce myself one more time. Hi, I'm Maddy, and I am. Now please rise with me to sing "She Comes Sailing on the Wind."